to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a pretty town red. Can't let that go down in my head, war gaming.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Hobby Homies. We are your weekly tabletop podcast. I'm Shane, hanging out with Fox.
Don't sound so disappointed.
It's the worst part of the week, but Churchy's here, which now it's the best part of the week.
Yay, straight in the
We've got-
void. Screens.
We've got Churchy back. God, I missed you, Churchy.
Yeah, we recorded one episode without you, and no order.
One or two, depending.
Yeah. But if you go watch last week's episode on YouTube, you'll see that the camera was tilted,
Yes.
just like us.
I became very
it's maybe
tilted.
like slightly tilted, but not really.
It's improving week to week.
It's yeah.
I
We're
didn't
working-
realize it was tilted. I set it up, so I take full responsibility.
You should. Yeah, I mean, you should. We are talking about. This is a hobby corner.
This is, we're going in the way back machine. We are going back to the Hobby Corner days,
Yeah.
episode 6
Episode 6, we're covering
of
painting
season
again.
1.
That's crazy.
We're talking about painting, so this is going to be about talking painting.
Yeah, good one.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, good one,
I'm
Chief.
sorry.
We've come so far since season 1.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
No, we're right back in there.
Yeah.
Season 1 energy right now.
Yeah.
So we both endured season 1, episode 6.
Yeah, we both went back and listened to it to get a retrospective on what we thought back then.
Yeah.
We don't often listen to our old episodes, especially.
I used to listen to every single one of them.
Did you really? Yeah. You're an animal.
I was sad.
Props to all of you that have listened.
Right.
Like, there's two people that impress me. It's the people that listened along when we released those
Back in
episodes.
the day. Yep.
And kept listening.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, right. And then there are people now who like are catching up on our backlog and choosing to go back and enjoy that pain.
I'm looking at you, fat boy.
Yeah, fat
You're
boy.
a madman.
You're out of control, man. But so many others have done it, and it's
Yeah,
like it's crazy because I mean, obviously it's a different experience for them versus us, but
Yeah.
man, that was a hard listen.
That was
to be
an
honest.
hour and a half. I'm gonna level with you right now.
Yeah.
I got through 45 minutes and I turned
It's
it off.
exactly where I turned it off. It's exactly, I turned it off at 50 minutes.
Yep.
And I thought, how long is this going for? And there was still another 35 minutes.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, I'm stopping it now and there's still a whole nother current episode
Yep.
worth of stuff. We could just clip that and that's a separate airbrush one.
Man, I'll tell you what, we talked about a lot of stuff in that episode, which we'll recycle right now.
Yeah.
We did not know how to end an episode.
That's true.
Because like I got to a point where I'm like, oh yeah, cool. And then like, now we're talking about airbrushing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I did the same thing. I clicked like on the little thing and I'm like, how much is longer? And
And
I was
that's it.
halfway, dude. So that's enough.
It was a pretty
Enough for
cool.
me.
Yeah, same. It was a pretty cool time capsule. So we'll talk a little bit about, our thoughts back then,
Yeah.
the stuff that we talked about, and how we feel about those painting tips now.
Yeah, I think some has changed.
Yeah,
Some has not changed.
some held up.
Some have held up.
I expected to listen to that episode, season 1, episode 6, as you mentioned, and just go. Expect it to be garbage, because
Yeah.
that was like years ago. I guess we haven't changed as humans as much as we thought.
No, it's still garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of points where I was like, I still feel like that.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
means it was actually okay.
Yeah, I still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did take some notes.
Yeah, cool. I took about 15 seconds of voice memo.
All
And
right.
that was enough.
Don't ever go back and listen to that episode again, Shane.
Yeah.
You've heard it once. You don't need to hear it again.
Pretty much. Never listen back to anything ever again.
What was interesting is we also didn't know how to start an episode because for 10 minutes we talked about I actually thought I was in the wrong episode.
Yeah.
I thought I was in a Star Wars Legion episode.
Yeah, we talked a lot about Legion.
Then the Star Wars Legion meta and what was happening at a tournament. Shane's allergic to Legion, clearly. He bought one half of the box,
Excuse
never
me.
painted the things. And so, actually, he asked me just the other day to paint his stormtroopers for him. So, here we are, still opening the episode about painting with Star Wars Legion. Something else I noticed from back then
sorry.
is we were still, don't be sorry, we expect this. This is the quality.
Yeah.
The quality increase.
We're back there.
That 4 years has taught
We're
us.
back to season 1.
I thought it was interesting. We were obviously still massive Games Workshop fanboys then because
Oh, weren't we?
you had just gone into Guff and bought Bloodletters Blood Angels and you were painting these Stormcasts that you've got on the table now.
Yeah.
Just full circle.
Yep.
And that's I think for us, we felt like Legion was this cool new niche little game, and it was like, whoa, there's something outside of Games Workshop. Who knew?
Who knew that stuff existed outside of GW? Not us.
Not us. That was our first discovery.
Yep.
So we're going to save you going back. Don't go back and listen to that. This is a summary of all the things we thought about painting then.
Yeah.
What we think about painting now.
Yeah.
First point we kicked off with was talking about finding your groove,
Yeah.
which I think could be better or more accurately described as like finding the painting style that actually is going to help you achieve what you want to achieve in the hobby.
Yes.
So, for example, there's a bit of a conflict when people, they want to play games.
Yep.
They want to play games with these massive, armies containing 60 to 80 models. But sometimes they're looking at these Instagram photos
Oh, don't do that.
and going, oh man, that salamander looks incredible that this
Yep.
person painted.
Yep.
Let me go look at that guy. Oh, okay, here's how you do it. Sweet. They paint one. It takes them 6 hours. Then they go, I can't maintain this.
Nah. Can't do this for a whole army.
I can't do this for a whole army at all.
Let
And
alone
then
a whole unit.
or they go, maybe this is what people do. And so then they do it for 5 or 10 miniatures and they're just burnt out at the process because they want to play that game with painted minis.
Yep.
And that's kind of conflicting with the paint style that they're doing.
You need to really weigh it up, and it's like, are you painting just to get them on the table, or are you painting them to, put them in a cabinet?
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah.
Right? So you got to find a balance where, like, if you just want them on the table, then you can just slap chop, contrast, spend 10 minutes on each mini.
Yep.
And that's sweet.
Get them on the table, get playing.
Yeah.
And then maybe if you're like, because sometimes a lot of people don't actually play games until they got fully painted whatevers.
Yeah. Yep.
So sometimes you don't know if you love this army and its play style and how it handles until you put it on the table. So
Yeah.
I'm all for just slapping it out there, getting it on the table. If you love it, sweet. The next box of 5 minis, you can take your time with those because you still got a fully playable army.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think the best way to find your paint style is to first find how fast you want to paint these things, like Shane mentioned. And the best way to do that is to go, well, how many hours do I have in a week to paint?
Yeah.
And how quick do I want to get this painted?
Do you have a deadline? Or you just want to take your time with it? Like, one thing we did talk about too was playing with like unpainted miniatures.
Yeah.
We both sort of said we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We don't really care if the opponent does.
Yeah.
Depending, right? Like, I don't want to play against someone who has an unpainted army and then the next week it's another unpainted army, like a different unpainted army.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, if they're going to cycle through it like that, nah.
Sure. Yeah.
But like, it's like, hey, I just got these. I'm super keen on them. I just want to play a game. Yeah, cool. No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was interested to hear us talk about that because I thought back then I was a big component of like, I don't care if the models are painted or not. My immersion's in like the actual game. I don't need the pretty paint on the plate. I thought that was my headspace. So it was interesting to hear me say that I only want to play with painted minis.
Yeah, I thought that too listening back to it because I'm like, Fox had a different unpainted army every week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did. And you know what? Something was revealed to me in this episode that I had completely forgotten about.
Yep.
And that's that we did hobby before we did the podcast
Right. Yeah.
for about 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's crazy to me, like at that time, I forget. I mean, I have pictures of it, like paint nights at your old house.
Yeah.
Church in his bag of Skitari.
God.
Kill Team, Armageddon. No, what's it called? Sorry,
Shadow War Armageddon.
Yeah, Shadow War Armageddon.
I remember playing Kill Team with you in Uran Street outside.
Yes.
And one day we're like, this is the best. Let's play games outside every day.
Yeah, to be fair, it was the best.
It was a great day. It was a cracker of a day.
There was no wind too. That's the element that we forget about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was Grey Knights versus Tau.
Probably.
Yeah. No, it was.
Yep.
You had painted Tau and I had Grey Knights.
Yeah. Grey Knights.
Grey Knights. I mean, they're called Grey Knights. I was
True.
just being thematical.
True.
Yeah. And so I was like, I had completely forgotten about that hobby existed before the podcast.
True.
It's kind of like when you have kids and people are like, oh, what's life before kids? You don't even remember, do you? And I'm like, well, no, I kind of remember. It was 30 years.
It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. But it was like that with podcasts. You know what else I noticed in that episode?
What's that?
I called you my boy a lot.
Oh, yeah?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I didn't pick up on that.
No, I was like, oh, my boy likes Thingo. Or my boy. Yeah. I don't
Now
like
you call
it at
me
all.
my man.
No. Not only do I not, but I never will.
I think we were boys back then.
My boy.
Listening to our voices.
Yeah. That was a big thing.
Now we're men, like manly
Oh,
men.
yeah. Now we're men. We speak man things. Oh, yes. Oh, my yes.
You've never seen a man before, have you?
I don't know what a man is. My dad left me when I was 9. Still looking for one.
He'll be back, dude. Don't worry.
Yeah, he's just getting milk.
There's cigarettes.
Yeah, milk and cigarettes. In the big tobacco crisis of 95. So yeah, I think our first point of finding a groove and like matching up what you're trying to achieve with how you're painting was a good point.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, all right, I want to get this army done in a month.
Yeah.
Because after that, I know I'm just going to jump to a new I need to get it done then. Or whatever reason, you go, all right, so I paint an hour, 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
That's 5 hours a week. That's 20 hours in total. And I just spent 10 hours on that one mini. That ain't going to cut it.
That's just not sustainable.
Yeah. Divide, do some quick math, jump on ChatGPT, be like, what is this many hours divided by this many models?
A calculator can do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, ChatGPT. If you don't know what a calculator is. Yeah, and then find a way to paint the models in that time.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like you said, my boy, my man, there is some good speed painting things like slap chop, which has changed our game up.
Hasn't it? And that wasn't a thing back then.
No.
Like,
we couldn't put that in there because it didn't exist.
No, we would have. We put wet pallets in there.
I
We actually
know.
talked about how to make a wet pallet.
Yeah, we did.
For how long?
Oh, so long.
We had to fill an hour and a half, dude.
Yeah, we didn't have to. We put that on ourselves.
We made that a thing.
You know what's crazy? It's like we made it a thing where we wanted to have podcast episodes in what we thought was podcast length, like an hour or whatever.
Right, yeah.
So why the heck was I talking like someone had turned me up to 1.25 times speed the whole time?
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to brave, just go listen to 1 minute. I don't know why I'm talking so damn fast.
Yeah.
Like I'm running out of time.
Maybe.
Like
an hour and a half's not long.
No, we got to get through this. Otherwise, I might not have
a lot
time
of content here.
Yeah, a lot of great content.
I mean, nothing's changed, really. We still put out fantastic content these days.
We do.
We just condense it down to half an hour.
This is the 255th best podcast in Poland. So Poland, the land of Poles. No, Polish
you're
people
not
live
wrong.
there.
I've just never thought of it being Poland.
What's
like
Poland?
like a place that you go to where you just buy
There's lots of
like
Poles.
a pole.
Yeah, it's like
Not like a Polish person. You don't buy Polish people. You just
I don't know.
buy
I've never been to Poland.
telegraph pole.
Yeah, or
Maybe.
it's like Disneyland, but for Polish people.
That's definitely not Pole.
Yeah, you go on, you get to ride all the Polish people. Anyway, you've obviously never been to Poland.
No, I haven't.
Hey, we also talked about paints I know it was a painting episode.
Yeah,
but we talked about paints.
Way too long.
Oh man, I don't even know what the point was.
There wasn't.
Yeah,
That's the beauty of it. There was no point to anything.
A simpler time. A simpler time. I feel like we were trying to articulate that we didn't think paint brands mattered too much.
No.
I think that's kind of what we were talking about.
And I think it kind of holds up a little bit.
Sure.
Like, there's obviously more brands out now than there was then, because that was 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Just over 4 years ago, I think.
2020.
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah. So a lot's come from then, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just I don't know what we were trying to explain how paint works.
Yeah.
It's like the pigment and the medium.
And medium. Did you know paint is just pigment suspended in medium shade?
Oh,
did you know that,
that
bro?
just blows my mind.
Yeah,
dude.
that's
And then
crazy.
if you leave it on your wet palette for too long, it separates.
Oh, it's crazy how that
Right.
happens because of all the water that gets sucked up through the parchment paper is fine. You know what? This was an iconic episode though, because
Yeah.
this is where the duck egg green meme was born.
Wow, that's early, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't get much earlier than the second episode.
Yeah.
And I know it was episode 6, but we tried to delete the first 4.
First 4
Yeah.
shall remain.
If this didn't have duck egg green meme in it, this might not have survived the cull.
Yeah, true. We're probably getting to a point now where we'll just cull the whole first season.
Yeah, maybe the first 3. Actually, just have a 10 episode running tally.
Yeah, if you don't catch up,
Yeah.
you're just like, no,
You didn't miss out.
You didn't miss out. Oh.
So we were talking about the paints that we use, and for some reason, we were talking about which red is the best, and we were, I think,
For so long.
for so long.
So long about red.
so long about red.
Oh, sorry, I'm derailing the episode here by just laughing at how long the episode went for, but
I love the irony of us talking about paint when we're talking about how bad it was that we talked about paint.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's a beautiful irony.
Yeah.
But I think what we were I think listening to the episode, it's almost like we were making an episode for someone who was brand new to the hobby.
And that's, one thing very early on, we wanted to be a podcast that would cater for those new to the hobby.
Yeah,
And those
sure.
veterans, right?
Yeah.
And I think subconsciously we've kind of drifted away from catering to the new people.
Yeah.
Like we don't obviously exclude them, but we talk more about games,
Which I think,
and that's I mean, obviously that's 50% of this hobby, right?
Yeah,
But like
50-50.
we don't really talk much about the hobby side of things anymore.
Yeah.
And like the whole hobby kind of thing was a series of episodes where it was like, let's just break down each step of the hobby.
yeah,
Painting, building,
Yeah.
basing,
red paint,
red
duck
paint.
egg green.
Yeah. We went right through everything.
Yeah, and I think what we do now makes sense because if you are somehow you have to be pretty deep into the hobby, I imagine, to find a podcast that talks about such niche
I think so.
war games.
You're
So
not
I mean,
going to find us on Spotify homepage. You're like, what's this?
oh, I've never thought about these guys make me want to get into the hobby. That's not happening. Yeah, so I think it was good though. I think the main takeaway, I guess, from that is that just find paints that you like that are available to you from a local store
Yep.
and that you can quickly resupply with,
Yeah.
and just use them.
Yeah.
As long as they're not like the old army painter ones, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I think stay away from gimmicky paints.
Sure.
Like if especially if you're starting out, or like, I don't know, I just feel like there's things like Turbo Dork, which are like all those different metallics.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're each thing has its own place, right?
Yeah.
But I think
that place for Turbo Dork is on the shelf.
it's on the
Yeah,
shelf.
that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, that's probably the strongest opinion you've had about something. This is you not liking something.
I mean,
I'm all for it. My man. I'm going to start calling you daddy.
I
Yeah.
don't know how to respond to that. Just take it.
I know.
Accept it. Wait.
Because even like, and I feel the same now. Like I got so many different paints.
Yep.
They're all good. I use
Yeah.
them all. I've recently not recently, like a year ago or whatever. I went all in on Pro Acryl
Yeah.
because I saw reviews and I heard the hype, and I didn't really think I was going to buy a ticket, but I think I caught the wrong train, and suddenly I was
Your
on
ticket was punched
yeah,
several
I was
times.
like, I got this ticket. And they're like, we'll punch it. I'm like, where do I go? And they're like, yo, just get on this hype train. What's it for? It doesn't matter. You already paid for your Pro Acryl. They're coming.
Yeah.
Oh, good. But they're actually one of the most frustrating paints I've ever used.
Mm-hmm.
They are everything that people says about them. Here we are talking about paints. They're awesome.
Yeah.
But they're also, for whatever reason, time of year, tilt of the moon,
Oh, of course.
tidal.
Waxing or waning.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But my horoscope is in retrograde.
Yeah, I mean, you're a Libra.
Yeah. And for some reason, they don't adhere always.
Sure.
And I feel like that's super frustrating. And they're like touted as the gold standard of
Well, I mean, they're pro acrylics.
acryl. Yeah, which stands
Acrylics for
for
pros.
oh,
You're not a pro.
yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I'm also not a krill. I haven't been eaten
From
by a
Star
whale.
Trek or something?
No, krill is isn't that the thing in the
Oh,
ocean?
yeah. But it's also something from Star Trek, I'm pretty sure.
Really?
The krill. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Georgie?
Do you even watch Star Wars, dude?
He's giving me the I don't know look.
He's Googling
He's
it.
giggling it.
He's furiously
It
Googling.
might be. I'll have a Google.
Yeah.
This is what we never had was like, Churchy was always in the void.
Yeah.
We could never even see him.
No.
So he never Googled stuff for us. Now
Or
is.
he
Look
tried
at
to
him.
shout it out
Yeah.
from the void.
Yeah.
Nothing escapes.
Nothing
I think you're right,
escapes.
Shaz.
Oh.
Told you, dude.
Have you seen it? Is that how you know that? Or that's you just know?
I don't know how I know
It's
that.
from the Orville.
Oh, hey, that's it. We've got Star Trek at home.
The like comedy one.
Yeah. Good
Right.
show.
But it's also in the ocean, right, guys?
Let me Google.
No, whales just eat them.
All right, episode's better or worse now. I can't tell. It's about
It's the
painting.
same.
We haven't said shit.
The same. We talked about stay away from turbo talk
Yeah.
and pro acrylic.
Pro acrylic is good, but not if you're not a pro.
Yep.
So yeah, just buy whatever the heck paint you want. Really,
Yeah, really.
good advice.
Yep.
Don't let the nerds on YouTube tell you which ones are the best ones
Oh,
because
such nerd.
they're just some dudes and
Yeah.
dudettes.
I mean, they're good.
They're good at what they do
Yeah.
and they believe what they're saying. Sometimes they're just wrong.
Yep.
There were a lot of people that touted. I was just talking to Gritty about this. We've said it many times, but I forget which paint it was. It was one of the speed paints.
Oh, and it reactivates when it gets wet.
Yeah, and it was like a lot of people like pushing it. It's like either they knew and let their sponsorships or free deliveries from that company. Was it Vallejo? I don't want to say the wrong one.
I think so. Speed paint.
Yeah, Vallejo
Yeah.
speed paints. Yeah, it might have been. Do your
Yeah.
own research.
Wolfie tried to sell me on the new. He's like, "Don't worry, this new range doesn't do that."
Yeah, what a great selling
I
point.
was like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Why don't I just buy one of the ranges that never do that? Yeah, but it's like either the people promoting it didn't ever. What's wrong with you guys? What are you coughing for?
Churchy was sick. I might be getting sick. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm next then. It comes for us all.
Yep.
Yeah, either the people pushing it knew and didn't tell the audience, which is horrible.
Yeah.
Or they didn't use them enough, and therefore they didn't do their due diligence and should never have promoted it to begin with.
Yep.
So that was people's qualms about a lot of big YouTubers doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the people telling you what to buy.
Yeah. Where you
So-
spend your cold hard cash.
That's right. So just go to your local shop, find a hobby paint, and get into it. Try it. If it's bad, at least then you'll know why the ones that are good are good.
Yep.
You know? Context.
And don't buy 3-stage paint system. Don't fall for that, like this guy did.
Yeah, unless you want. I mean, you can do it without being like this guy. You'd be like, I want a green. And they'd be like, well, you need these 3.
Look,
You'd
okay.
be like, I don't know what I have at home. But you're right. You know what we did call, though?
Yeah, what was that?
We said Duncan had just left Games Workshop. And we
did.
made a joke about wait till he does his own paint range.
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we call that, or did we know about it?
I don't think we knew about it in 2020, early 2020.
We
I should,
didn't name it,
we didn't name
but we
it.
did mention it.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
know.
I think we called it, to be honest.
Yeah,
Based
maybe.
on the timeline, but I could be wrong. So call me out. Call me out in the comments. Let me know.
Duncan, we're calling you out, dude.
Yeah. Hey, I said I used washers. I got another note here. I used contrast as washers. And that made me think, instead of using like the classic Games Workshop washers
Yep.
or shades or whatever they are,
You were using soft tone.
I was using soft tone. Yeah, I'd swapped over to soft and dark
Yeah.
tones as my washers, shades, whatever. But then I said I'd started to move over to just using thin down contrast
Yep.
because I sort of like the finish of it a bit better.
Which has kind of evolved into
Slap chop. Yeah. But also, I thought when I heard that, I was like, when was the last time I used a shade of any kind? I cannot remember.
fair income.
Yeah, probably not in the last 3 years,
Wow.
2 to 3 years.
So no Agrax for you.
No Agrax, but then I do use oils as my washers. So I am using washers. I'm just not using the ones I use.
Oils. Not a pro over here.
Look at me with my oils. Hey, that's something I could talk about. That's new. I use
Yeah,
oils.
That's new.
Just try it.
I've never tried it.
I know it's like airbrushing. It's like, would you
Never
have
tried.
tried? You have tried. You have tried.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, it seems harder and
Yeah.
more effort and more difficult. It seems like a pro level thing,
Sure.
but then you do it and you're just like, oh, that was way too easy
Okay.
and made such a difference.
Yep.
Yeah, I highly rate just giving oils a go for anyone. Pick up a miniature that you've already painted.
Sure.
You don't really care about too much.
Yeah.
And just go, this, if it feels like it's too bright or you don't really like, you want to tone down the details or even just make it a bit grittier,
Yeah.
just grab a brown oil or even like a pre-mixed wash. You can get like the AK, like enamel washes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And like the streak and grimes and stuff like that.
Yep.
You can just use those out the pot, or you can just grab an oil, like a Abtalung, I think it's called 502.
Yep.
Which is...
They're like are they a hobby?
They are hobby because the company, I can't remember what company owns them. People that know paints will be screaming at me because they've got a bigger... They might be... Are they AK? I don't know. They belong to a bigger, more recognizable
You've seen them
company.
in your hobby shop. They're
Yeah.
with all the weird hobby tools that you don't use.
Yeah, but you should. The oils are great. You get a thinner. Yeah, you're using a different mediums, but you usually do it at the end and you have a batch of them and you slap them all on, and then by the time they take ages to dry.
Takes like a week to dry, right?
Which is great because you want to douse them in oil.
Yeah, and wipe it off.
Go back to the first one that's sort of set there a little bit and wipe it off.
It'll set. I didn't know that.
You just kind of let it simmer for like 10. It varies depending on how much you want the color to stain the original colors. If you want it to just sit in the recesses, you know, you just leave it for a few minutes and take it. But if you want it to sort of get what do you call a mottled finish? Yeah. Anyways, give it a go.
Cool.
Watch, someone that's really good at Marco Frazzoni.
Oh,
I forget how to say his last
Not just
name.
Mecca.
Not just Mecca. Yeah. Go check him out on YouTube. He was the one that made me go, far out, dude.
Yeah.
You're getting some insane results for no effort.
Yeah.
Let me try these oils.
Nice.
And he has full oil breakdown episodes, how-tos.
That's cool.
Check out him. He's worth it for sure.
You need to listen to someone who knows what they're talking about
Yeah.
to use products like that.
I love how we've both said, don't listen to hobby YouTubers because they're lying to you.
But do.
But also you need to. So
They are lying to you.
it is AK Interactive owns Abtalung.
Sure.
There you go.
Cool.
I was right.
Yep.
What else did we discuss? And is there anything else that you can remember that is relevant?
I don't really think so. I think we talked about, techniques that we did. I don't think I was happy. That's actually one thing we did talk about was getting to a state that you're happy with, right? Of your hobby, accepting that, yes, you're not going to be the next Golden Demon winner and being happy with that.
Yeah.
Like I am more than happy with that. I don't want, like some people were like, no, I'm going to practice every day and like good on you. Like keep doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you find your style that you're happy with, that's sweet. You're getting stuff done. And for some reason, I back then thought I was in that stage, but that stage was me sub-assembling everything, painting everything, and then gluing it together. And that was just not a feasible option, right? It wasn't. I couldn't keep doing that.
Yeah.
It just took too long
For sure.
for
100%.
a single troop. So now it's like slap chop with a wash over it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And it looks great on the table. Like you
Yeah.
think about your sludge stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's the first time you've pumped out that many miniatures ever.
Right.
Except for
Yeah.
maybe the previous challenge. What was that?
Oh yeah.
But that was sludge as well, wasn't it?
It was one of the mini warm-up ones, I think it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was it sludge?
Oh, it was just a bunch of bad guys.
Random
yeah,
shit
but
for
it was slap chop.
Yeah.
And like that was I think that might have been the first time where you went, oh wow, I can actually smash stuff out.
Yeah.
And now you've done it with 2, almost 3 sludge armies. That's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah.
And you could have been doing contrasts haven't existed always.
No.
Oh, but we were talking about it. But you could have been doing it back in 2020.
True.
But you were still in that discovery process of like finding out that the way you were painting, the classic layer up,
Yeah.
heavy
Edge,
metal.
highlight, everything. Heavy metal, yeah, it was. It's the heavy metal brand is what I was doing.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work for everything.
For what you were trying to achieve, because
No.
you would paint 10 Blood Angel Assault Intercessors
Yeah.
and be like, I'm done with
Dude,
this.
I'd do 5 and I was done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You struggle through the next 5 and then you go, wow, cool. I've spent 3 weeks, all of my time, 10 models, can't even play with them yet.
Yeah.
And you've got another 50 to go before you're playing 2K, 40K, for example. So yeah, that is the best takeaway that we could probably pass on to
Absolutely.
people is find out what you're trying to do. Because it's a spectrum, right? Of, like you said, display painting
Yep.
and painting to play the game.
Yeah.
And they're right up the opposite ends. So if you're watching someone paint a bust,
Yeah.
you know, they're doing something that is the opposite end of maybe what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And maybe you're landing in the middle. Maybe you're like, I've got one army.
Yep.
I've got this whole year, and I'm just going to try and make these look as good as I can. Great. Heavy metal's great. You'll get consistent themes through your army. You'll have nice a standard.
Yep.
You know, the 3-paint standard is great if you in 10 years want to go paint things in the same way that you painted them before.
And you can.
Yeah.
Because like you're not trying to remember techniques that you did or like remix paints that you
Was
mixed
this a 3
years
to 1?
ago. Yeah. Yeah.
So we also complained about this. This is something I still don't like, which is why I rate Marco so highly.
Sure.
And that's we complained that not enough hobby YouTubers talk about why they choose certain paints.
Okay. Yep.
And some of them do on some episodes, and they do a great job when they do. But I mean, consistently talk about, I'm painting this. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm painting this because it's a cool color.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all right, but why? Like, why are you choosing a cool color? Mm-hmm. Does that contrast nicely with the warm tones? And is that always the case?
Can it not just be because I like that color?
Yeah, and if so, tell us that, you know?
Sure.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're stuck there thinking, if you're trying to learn about color theory and
Okay.
what
Yeah.
looks good and where to place lighting and things, you're like, now, did you pick that because it looks cool? Because when I pick 2 colors that just look cool, that are on the color spectrum and like a thing that the thing tells me should complement each other,
Yeah.
it looks hideous.
Yeah.
But actually, sometimes it matters about whether or not one's saturated and one's desaturated.
Yeah. Do you think you're reading into it too much?
No, well, yes. Yeah, for sure. Some people might not care and they
Yeah.
just throw paint on a
Like,
miniature.
because if I'm watching someone, if I want to learn about color theory, I'll probably watch a video about color theory.
yeah, but
Like, I won't try. Sorry, but I won't.
No.
Try and learn color theory from someone who's not teaching it.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I mean, sometimes they just naturally do. Like you said.
Yeah.
They say this, and this works together.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you need more or less of the other.
Yeah, for sure.
But like, yeah, I don't know. Like maybe you're looking into it too much, dude.
Maybe you're not looking into it enough, dude. Well, I guess that speaks to
True.
2 very different like things that we're looking for, I suppose.
Yeah.
And like I have miniatures where I see someone's colors and I'm like, I'm gonna do that color scheme on
Yeah.
this, and then mine turns out garbage, and I go, I'm using the same colors, and like I don't care about how well I painted it.
Yeah.
The colors look off, and where I
Yeah.
place them, I don't understand. We're using the same things. Mine are slightly in different spots. Is that what it is? Is it like your purples are over to you're using your purples as your highlights? Is it so? Yeah, I like to know about that stuff and why they make these choices,
Yeah.
as opposed to like who supplied the miniature and why you should use their 10% off code to do the thing, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's what I'm looking for when I
Yeah,
watch those
that's fair.
videos. And
Yep.
so that's why I like Marco. He does a good job of that.
I think that's probably the different hobby YouTubers that we watch too. Like the guys that I watch, like I have watched Marco's videos in the past, but I don't watch them. I haven't watched them for ages. Right?
Yeah.
But like the ones that I do watch regularly, like MS Paints is one of them, and he has MS, so he
Yeah.
struggles to paint, right?
Yeah.
Hence the name, and
Yeah.
he just does stuff because he thinks it's fucking cool.
Yeah.
and like he'll say that to you in the video. Like,
Yeah.
I don't give a shit. This game is a dead game, but I think it's fucking cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's great.
and like they're the ones that I vibe.
Yeah.
So I just watch that, but I'm not watching it to learn.
Yeah,
to
sure.
paint. Like obviously you pick up things and you go, oh, that's a cool technique, or
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a really cool, color or style or miniature or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not watching it like where Marco. If you watch his stuff, you're probably going to watch it more to learn something.
Yeah. Yeah, I love his like his speed paints most things.
Yeah.
Which is great. Oh, he does a bit of both, right? He operates at both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And he paints it at both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
He goes, speed paint. He shows you how to do a full thing in 4 hours. I'm like, damn, that looks so cool. Why doesn't my 4 hour stuff look like that? No,
Yeah.
It's a compliment of like all his painting knowledge and all that goes into it. So I want to tap into that. I want to see if that's going to lift the game up. So I don't have to put in any extra effort.
Yeah.
It's just the knowledge of the colors that's going to make them go to that next level with zero extra effort. But, there's so much validity into just painting whatever the fuck you think looks cool.
Absolutely.
And just like taking that, some people use it to escape. They don't want to tap into like a level of, they don't want to be thinking about color theory.
They're not on like a different astral plane.
Nah, they're in this corporeal realm with the rest of us normies.
Exactly.
And they're just like, I just throw a paint on so it's finished.
Yeah,
so I can
yeah.
play a game. It's going to look good anyway. So
Yeah.
both are valid except Shane's wrong. So I'd like to thank all the patrons
Go on then.
with Shane's help a bit.
Yes, thank you to our patrons. For $2 a month, you can get early access to videos like this, battle reports and stuff we do on our second channel too, which link is in the description to that.
Yep.
If you haven't, please subscribe to this channel and that channel. Give us a like and a comment too if you so feel. It does help us grow a lot, helps us get exposed to other hobbyists.
Yeah, that's right. We will grow taller and expose ourselves to other hobbyists. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Exactly what I'm trying to say.
And all you guys have to do is like our videos.
and join the Patreon.
and join the Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, we will expose ourselves to other hobbyists.
There's links there on hobbyhomies.com for the Discord too.
Yeah,
So
jump in there. Please
check
give
out
us all
that.
your paint tips. Let us know in this video, like if someone's watching this for painting tips, what's your best tip? What's the best thing you've learned in your culmination of painting knowledge? Or are you a newbie and have questions? Slap it in the comments.
Other people than us will answer those questions.
Yeah, and also us, but I mean, listen to them.
Yeah, pick and choose.
Go buy speed paints. Vallejo
Turbo
first
door.
edition speed turbo door.
So shout out to our patrons. Like I said, $2 a month gets you early access, and you can be one of these absolute legends, homies, main homies, and of course the legendary MJ Moose, Fatboy, Axe Annex. One real one, that's you, Numa, and the goats, Burnsy, Final Dinosaur, Gridlock, and Journeyman.
We got the OGs, Black Apollo, Alco, Churchy, cheers Churchy, Rad, Ollie, Hawkers, Penny Aggro, Don Hua Don, Pure Blind, Jackson V, Nathan A, Mini Warmer, and Big Roach. You're all amazing. Your continued support keeps the lights on, keeps these guys, they don't have long left, I'll be honest. Listening to them today, they don't have long left, so make these last
I can see the
few
light.
weeks
I can see the
enjoyable for
light.
them.
You know what? Send Fox
Send
junk
dudes.
to PO Box 43, Lara, Victoria, 3212.
Please do. I'll open anything.
Anything.
Peace.
Hooroo.
Woo! Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice.